Okay. Alrighty then. You are now tuned into the Promise Key on the Kushite Selassie channel. I'm your host, Kushite Selassie. Damn, this is not a cigar. And we're here today. Once again, we're going to try it. This is take 2 of the interview with my homie, Nana Kwame. Homie just be setting bombs on YouTube and just let them explode. Then to make sure the fire keep going, just throw a couple firecrackers into the comments to keep the fire blazing and all that stuff. And the latest comment he did made me really want to put him on the show. It was a topic I've been wanting to do for a minute, but I ain't gonna lie, I was a little lazy about it. But what was your last post? The one about locks and numbers and numbers in the Bible, right? Yeah. That said a lot of fire. That was one of those random fires he be setting, man. But yo, introduce yourself right quick to the crew. Let them know, because this is not the brother's first time on here. This is this is the second take. All right, because I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with the recording, but that whole build, no sound. And talk about somebody who was pissed. Talk about somebody who was pissed that But damn, but we here now. All's good. I'm gonna let the brother talk. I'm gonna let the brother talk for himself. And who can speak more for himself than himself? All right, big bro, talk to him. Talk to the people and introduce yourself.
Yes, I. Blessed Lord. Rastafari.
Selassie.
Isis I. You know, yeah man, I'm Nana Kwame from Ghana, you know, representing Rastafari worldwide, saying Isis I. Yeah, man. So he's speaking on my last post.
Yeah. The one with numbers, and the fact that there are a lot of rosters who don't lock up because of the Bible. There was a sense of locks before the Bible, and even Mutabaruch even set this question of the fact that there were rosters who locked up, who saw Selassie, and automatically locked up. This was before the Bible. This is even before the Mama Rebellion. They were Howlites who just suddenly took on locks. And the question of the day is that I'm gonna be discussing with homie, because he already brought the topics up. What are the other reasons that rosters would lock? What are the other reasons that drew rosters to locks other than numbers in the Mama Rebellion?
Yeah, man.
What is your take on that?
Yeah, of course. You have many Rastafari brothers and sisters who grow locks, not because of number 6, you know. Yeah, so we look deep into the liberty, you know, and we see the locks and the Rastafari movement, you know, has many connections. Yeah, man. So, in one of my research, there were some patriots in Ethiopia. You know, when the emperor was exiled in England, you know, they vowed not to cut their locks, or they vowed not to cut their hair until the emperor returns. And this is a history in Ethiopia. They were Ethiopian patriots, you know, Ethiopian soldiers
Yeah.
When the emperor is out in England. Yeah. So, yeah. And there's this traditional connection with the locks too. You know our traditional priests here grow their locks. In fact, some Rastafari are connecting the locks to the ancient African identity. You know, before slavery, before colonization, you know, the black man, you know, had locks, you know. Yeah, but it had a spiritual connection too, you know, because our priest here, our traditional priest, they grow their locks here, you know. Yeah, man. So the locks really wasn't about number 6. I think it was a later justification to say, yeah, this is why I'm doing this.
Right. Because we got to remember a lot of Garveyites who started following Leonard Howell and all the others. Most of them were Baptists and Catholics and all that other stuff. So they had to. This is them justifying to the other Christians why they see Selassie.
Of course.
And what I see a lot in America, because one of the first things they did when they brought us across the watery grave, when they brought us across the Atlantic, the first thing they did was shave our heads. Men and women. If the women's heads weren't already shaved, because it was hot. It was hot in Africa. Not every female grew their hair out because it was hot in Africa. There was always not a need for it. And a lot of times, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of people grew locks in Africa. Our ancestors grew locks in Africa, not only just for spiritual reasons, but for health reasons, because it kept lice out of our hair.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So I think with the fact of us growing our hair, period, whether it would have been locks or just stayed at the fro, because at first the early Rasta would just walk around looking like Selassie with a fro and a thick beard. I think it's the fact that black hair in general is just a symbol of rebellion against colonial slavery.
Yeah, man. The first Rastafari who grew their locks, the locks was a symbol of resistance, you know, against the system. Yeah, man. So the locks, I think the locks is very, very important. Like you said, for our health. Yeah, man. So our ancestors before slavery, you know, had all these connections.
Yeah. What time is it over there, Kwame?
Yeah. I remember. I met one Rastafari brethren, and he was telling me in 1930, he was telling me Haile Selassie had locks on his coronation day. That's why he had something, covered around his head before the crown was placed.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think the emperor had locks. But the emperor could have locks during his youth age.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that picture where it had his hair slicked back in a little traditional york. But that was like, that's like traditional Ethiopian princehood. You know, they all had a little bit of Congo back there. That was just and there was no better example of Africans showing off their natural hair. To me, the first ones I've seen on the continent first show off their natural hair were the Ethiopians. I mean, the first time you see like videos of the emperor going through the town and everybody's following stuff, you see that one dude with that huge afro just flopping it back and forth. It made me really miss my afro when this was during the time when I first like started growing locks and stuff. I started from an afro, then I just, not knowing any better, I did like the two strand twist and shit. And and just twisted it up and whatnot. But seriously though, that was, seeing the Ethiopians so proud of their hair made me even proud of my hair. It was just show it off.
Yeah. I think the Bahatari. There's a group in Ethiopia called the Bahatari.
Mm-hmm.
They are of monks, They don't wear shoes. They live in thick forests, in mountainous areas, They live an ancient livity, So they grow their locks, Bahatari, I think that's the name, Bahatari.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, while we on the topic... Oh, my fault. Go ahead.
The Bahatari are not, most of them are not allowed around, especially around ceremonial rituals within the Coptic church. Because of how they look, they look different from,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
the Maasai in Kenya.
Aha.
Yeah, the Maasai in Kenya also have, a beautiful dreadlocks historical significance,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, let's go back a little bit on that topic of Selassie with locks. And the whole in those Ethiopians that go out in the mountains and go and start locking their hair up, and then after they get to a certain length, they start to, what the Bible call it, poling their locks, where they would cut them from the back and let them go long in the front. With that in mind,
Okay.
Say what? Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. So with that, how do you feel about the whole Abacadus theory?
Abacadus theory.
Yeah, Selassie, instead of them killing him, he was exiled into the priesthood and stuff. Like a lot of rulers, if they weren't killed, they would be exiled into the monasteries and stuff like that.
Yeah. I've heard of such claims,
Yeah.
That Haile Selassie is now Abacadus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we have to be realistic in that certain. We can't be illusioned in that certain, especially in that time. I don't think Haile Selassie is Abacadus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Cause it'd be kind of odd though, cause as much as we would like to believe that, you think somebody would come up and ask him, you think somebody would have just come up and asked him by now and be like, did you used to go by the name Haile Selassie? I mean, it's not like he's gonna say no. I mean, why don't somebody just ask? Why didn't anybody just ever ask him? That's my whole thing about it.
Okay. Yeah, man.
But enough about that. Let's see. Where else we go with this? In Ghana, in Ghanaian traditions, how do locks play a role in Ghanaian traditions?
How do the locks play a role in Ghanaian tradition?
Yeah, do they? Is there any significance to locks in Ghanaian traditions or in any Ghanaian traditions?
Yeah, man. Our traditional priest. We have a traditional priest here.
Mm-hmm.
For every for every village. You know, there's a traditional priest, and they grow their locks. Yeah. And you know, their purpose. I'm talking about the priest. Their purpose is a spiritual connection to the energies, you know. So yeah, they grow their locks. Yeah. And some don't even eat meat.
Oh.
Yeah, man. Some abstain from meat, you know, eating, you know, vegan living, you know. So I think most of our traditions here, you know, yeah, man, are accepting the locks. Yeah.
So with that tradition already installed in y'all, and seeing y'all in y'all village, seeing y'all village priests and all such, growing up and all that, would y'all say with the emerge of Rastafari and the tradition that they brought and the traditions that they came with, would you say it just blended in naturally within the Ghanaian people? Or with most Ghanaian people when it comes to the fact that this is a look that's not relatively new to them?
You know, I remember when Kwame Nkrumah declared our independence in 1957. The first delegation of diasporas to come to Africa, they came to Ghana. There was a delegation from the Caribbean, especially Jamaica, they came to Ghana after Ghana gained independence. And when they came, they had locks. Many of them had locks. And when they came in 1957, the story was they were not accepted by the people. They were not accepted by the local people because of how they looked, because of their matted hair, because of their dreadlocks. They were not accepted by the people. So dreadlocks here is really mad to grow dreadlocks here. No job, family issues, you know, it's a whole lot growing dreadlocks here. It's a whole lot growing dreadlocks here. Police brutality. Yeah, man.
Crap.
Police just chase man down the road because of iron locks. You know, a man could have released him turban just for the police to search in the locks. Madness.
Y'all hear that? Viewers, brothers and sisters, do y'all hear this?
Madness.
That's why
madness over war.
And that's why I posed the question right now to a lot of my viewers, because I know a lot of my viewers have locks, and not all of them are Rastas. And I posed this question: if they were still doing like they were doing in Jamaica back in the early days, and like they're doing now in certain, and like they're doing, would you say they're still doing it now, Kwame?
Of course, they are now doing it still.
Mm-hmm. So with that said, so for a lot of y'all who just be wearing this for a fashion statement, I ask y'all, if they start in America, police started beating motherfuckers for locks again, how many of y'all still be walking around with locks on y'all head? When I first got into Rastafari, I used to get annoyed when I see other people with locks in their head, and as much as I love to see them with natural hair, it kind of annoyed me that they didn't know anything about Africa or anything about anything. They were just wearing it because it looked good on their head. And then they do all this crazy shit to their hair. They bleach it. They bleach it to look blonde. They tie-dye it to look green. They have all these colored tips and having all these colors and crap. I'm older now, so I don't get mad. So stuff, kids are gonna be kids, and I can't lie. When I first had locks, when I first did it, I kind of fell into that whole fad a little bit. Some girl convinced me to dye my locks, to dye the ends of my locks one time, but I hate the way it looks so much that I literally just kept washing it until it came out. Luckily, it was just it was one of those temporary bleachers. But anyway, it used to annoy me so much because a lot of people died. Oh crap!